fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop at the time. Well, how long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We gotta fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever heard. Redemption song, redemption song. These songs of freedom, songs of freedom. Thank you. My name's Josephine Leone, and I'm from Ottawa, Canada. We were playing outside the peaceful protest last week during the debates at Le Musée de l'Histoire in Gatineau. And that's when our friends from the PPC invited us here today. So we actually drove from Montreal. We said, hell yeah. And we brought all our stuff because we just thought, hey, we're censored enough as it is. We may as well amp up. So we brought volume. Anyways, we're happy to be here, and I'm going to play a couple songs until I pass on the mic. Someone will let me know. Someone will let me know when to pass on the mic. This is an original song. It's one of the first songs I ever wrote. It was during a time where I was sort of feeling down. And so I remember I went to the river, and I was sort of praying, actually. I was praying for help from the Holy Spirit. And I felt like in that moment, God sort of told me to just pick up my guitar. And this is the song that was given to me, sort of as a message to me. It's called It's All Right.
The world go by. Oh, it's like it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time trying to paint the perfect canvas. Such a shame when no one can see it. Just wanna tell you it's alright. It's alright. And I just wanna see your flame come alive. Yeah, it's alright. Every time you feel your fire turn to dust, yeah, it's alright.
Thank you. Of course, yes, that would be amazing.
Check, check. Hello, everybody. Welcome. You should be welcoming me, actually. So my name is Liz Valley. I am a PPC candidate from Chatham, Kent, Leamington. Does anybody know where that is? Yeah? Awesome. Awesome. So I am truly humbled to be up here speaking in front of you, coming from such a small community and being able to speak in front of people from Toronto or from surrounding area. It's quite humbling right now for me. But thank you, and thank you for showing up. I hope you understand and realize how important this is for you to be here right now. So you need to be very proud of yourselves because you're doing something right now. You're standing up right now. You've gotten off your couch and you're standing for something. It's amazing. Be proud. So I have a question. How many people here watch or read the CBC? Okay. Now, how many people here watch or read the CBC just to keep an eye on them, on what they're doing? Anybody? Yeah, because I do. I definitely want to see what's going on. Now, how many of you that do that have caught them in a straight up bold-faced lie? Yeah. Now, I think I can guess that in this crowd here, there's been many people, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, there's been many people here who have been suppressed or banned on social media, say maybe Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Fact checked, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, given all of what we just discussed in the last minute, how many people here actually want their tax dollars going to the CBC? Now, when my leader, your leader, Maxime Bernier says, let's defund the CBC, what do you say? Amazing. So, yeah, let's do it. Now, if they were true, if they had integrity and ethics and things like that, do you not think that their fans would support them, would send their money to them? Because I know of quite a few independent media outlets that the only way they get funding is through the people that support them. Do you know some of those media outlets that I'm talking about? Shout one out for me. Yeah! Rebel News? Woo-woo! Yeah. So I think we would all agree if a news outlet or a media outlet is doing a great job, then we're going to gladly support them and give our money, right? Yeah, but don't force people and take money out of their hard-earned paychecks when they don't want to put their money towards somebody who maybe doesn't have the ethics or the morals or the values that we're looking for, and the truth. Because it's very disheartening when you're trying to keep up on the news and you catch them in lies. And then that's where your money's going. Your money's going to lies. Not cool. So going back to social media and being censored, let's all agree now that we have a voice and we're able to cast our vote, going forward, let's not be censored. Say, no, we will not shut up. And no, you cannot silence us. Come on, let's hear it. Come on. Don't let them silence you. Come on, here, let's hear it. That's right, loud, loud and proud. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. This is important, now more than ever. We will not sit down, we will not shut up, we will not be silenced. It's time for you to shout it from the rooftops that you deserve a voice. And that's what the People's Party of Canada has given you. We've given you a voice, we've given you an option to vote for, something to actually vote for, instead of voting for the party that maybe sucks the least, because all the other options suck, right? Yeah, they sure do. So that was my main message that I wanted to come and bring up here. But since we're speaking of choice, the People's Party of Canada is all about choice. And that's what freedom is all about. Freedom, you can't have freedom and a vaccination passport. They don't go hand in hand. Who here is okay with a vaccination passport? I didn't think so. We cannot be free if our government is telling you you must be injected, and not just you, but your children. They're telling you if your child wants to go play hockey or play ringette or go in a swimming league, and who knows what else, I'm sure many of you out here could tell me, they must be injected. What are we doing to our children here? So do you actually think it's okay for our children to sacrifice their health and their well-being to make adults feel safe? No, we need to save our youth. We need to protect our children, and that's what we're doing here. So September 20th, before I actually go into that, who here voted early? Yes. So actually, I'm seeing that. I've been touring with Max since yesterday, and he came to my riding, and when I'm asking people, it looks like a huge portion of PPC supporters have already voted early. So now, yes, so now what your job is, each and every one of you, I want you to make a goal and collect 5 people, and you'll probably hear somebody else say this today, but collect 5 people in your life and go get them to vote on the 20th. And thank you, thank you. So please spread the word, and if they need a ride, whatever, but bring your family members, bring your friends, and get them to vote on the 20th. Because when you vote for a leader with the values and the morals that align with you, you're going to vote for freedom. Thank you. So I believe that we will have some people arriving soon to speak, and they're going to be a lot bigger deal than little old Liz from Chatham here. But before we do that, let's get ourselves pumped up. Let's say what we've been saying all of this time. Ready? Freedom, 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 freedom. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Say it loud, say it proud, and on September 20th, vote People's Party of Canada. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That was very good. It's good to see so much purple arriving here. My name is René de Vries. I'm a PPC candidate in Markham-Stouffville, fighting with my brothers here and sisters for freedom. It's interesting that we're, this is the new Pravda of Canada. This is how I've named it. Unfortunately, that's what the CBC is becoming under Justin Trudeau. I don't know if you know the story of Pravda, but people from Eastern Europe and Soviet Union, they know that story. And, you know, it's basically one-sided propaganda we're hearing. And unfortunately, Justin Trudeau, with all his money, is starting to turn the CBC in exactly that. We're not hearing the full story, CBC. We want the full story. We want the full debate. We don't care if you are partially bought off by Big Pharma, but we also want the counter story. And that counter story on the whole vaccination front involves early treatment methods. Why have you not told us about Peter McCullough in Austin, Texas? He has a beautiful protocol that will be needed for people that get COVID, and that prevents hospitalization and death. That protocol is widely available in the US and should also be applied here by doctors. And that includes the so-called horse dewormer. Did you know, by the way, that India got COVID under control without the vaccination and with ivermectin protocols and others? So why are you not talking about this, CBC? What's going on with you? Are you bought off that much by Big Pharma? We believe that there are some critical thinking people here at CBC as well. We don't see you as the enemy. But, you know, we know that you can be bought off. Obviously, that's been happening. So we're here as PPC and PPC candidates to shine a light on all this. We want truth, and we want the full debate. The fact that our leader, Maxime Bernier, was taken out of the debate on the national platform is ridiculous. You know, the rules were somewhat fanatic to keep him out. And we also see some of our candidates in local ridings taken out of debates for no good reason. Basically, what is developing is a tyranny. And we do not want this tyranny in Canada. We want a full democracy where everybody's counted, including all the people that have gathered here. I must put in a bit of a plug for Stouffville Markham, because we do have a full debate there, and I'm glad to see that. Tomorrow night, Markham Library is in fact hosting all the candidates. That includes the Liberals and the Conservatives, the Green Party, NDP, and the PPC. Now, let's have the full debate. Let's, you know, struggle with the truth and try to understand what's going on. This afternoon, we will have a lot of interesting people gathering here, and that includes Randy Hillier. I want to talk a little bit about Randy. I met Randy in Brantford in April during one of the anti-lockdown demonstrations. And as soon as I got together with like-minded souls like him, I started to feel a lot stronger. I realized, you know what? These CBCs of the world are bamboozling us. They're just, they're telling us there's only one way to look at this whole situation. And as soon as I saw that, I realized, you know what? We have a big propaganda machine on our hands here. And we, as the people, have to stand up against this tsunami of lies. Dr. Roger Hutchinson, out of Alberta, in fact, went on a beautiful little rant recently, calling it that way. You know, we've been bamboozled with a tsunami of lies. And why are you doing that to us, CBC? Yeah, I guess money. You know, but that's not the Canada that I grew up in. That's not the Canada that I want. And I don't think, when all of you think about that, including all the journalists that work here at CBC, that's what you want. You want full debate. You want the truth. You want to lay it all out. Then we want to come to a conclusion. And that's how democracy works. And you know, the fact that we have to come here to do that is, well, at least we have the freedom to still do it. And I think that's a good thing. And we thank you all for that. And we thank you for coming. But, you know, we see basically what we see at this point, a tyranny develop, where even this point of view as an alternative is not allowed. And that is, well, this goes against everything that we stand for in this free country. And I'm so happy to see so many freedom fighters ultimately gathered around me here to make that point. And we'll see a lot larger crowd when Maxime arrives here later this afternoon. We can be thankful for that. I believe we are the carriers of truth, of freedom, and we need to stand up against this tsunami of lies. Thank you. Now, I also want to talk a little bit as an introduction to Maxime Bernier. I don't know if well, we see a lot of purple here, but not everybody is in the party, and they might not know everything about Maxime. You know what? I read something in the National Post, what was this? March of this year, that up to 60% of Canadians are at this point politically homeless. Why? They know something is up. Something is not right. The bamboozle is on. They can't really put their finger on it yet, but people are waking up. Now, Maxime is there to give a home to those people. Maxime is a decent man. I've met him 5 times now. And he is a democratic man, and he's fully open to this debate, and he has been leading the charge with respect to getting the message out and mobilizing people. You should have seen yesterday the gathering they had in Elmer. There were, I don't know, thousands of people in Manitoba. There were 4,000 people just last week. Why do we need to come here to tell you that, CBC? This is not right. This deserves further attention from you. Now, we can do it this way, that's fine. And maybe that's one way to highlight this. Maxime Bernier, I believe, would have been a fantastic addition to the debate. And the fact that he was left out, I think, left a lot of people with sore feelings. And this is not right. This is a shadow of democracy. It's basically, I don't know why you're doing this to us, CBC. You should have at least discussed that point. And if you want to go down the route of Pravda, which is the Soviet or the liberal, I guess the liberal news agency that you're developing into, well, go right ahead. But we all know what happened to Pravda. So the people will stand up. We will continue to shine a light on everything, and we will confront you with the lies. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your presence, and more people are coming, and good luck today. Thank you.
Testing. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to say good afternoon to everybody. A bit louder? There we go. All right, my name's Ratib Anderson. I'm the riding nominee for the People's Party, the Humber River Black Creek riding. Thank you. So happy to see everybody out right now standing up for what's right and standing up for the Canada that they want to live in, that they believe is fair, balanced, and going against the CBC, going against the Liberal Party, Conservatives, NDP, everybody that's truly standing against freedom right now. I wanted to say personally, not to feel villainized, not to feel as though you're being separated and segregated from society. We often hear this discourse and rhetoric in the newspaper about anti-vaxxers, about anti-mask. No, it's all about upholding the Charter of Rights and Freedoms as Canadian citizens. It's all about freedom of choice. We will not just go quietly and be shunned and disenfranchised. And obviously, as you can see up front from over here, do not let anybody try to tell you that you're a neo-Nazi for supporting the People's Party. That is absolute foolishness. So very quickly, I just want to make sure that we all get back on track. If you have voted already, we thank you for your support. Election is on September 20th. Just remember, we are fighting for the Canadian identity here. We are fighting for our rights and freedoms. We need to start putting Canada first. We are strong and free. This is the true north. We need to unify under one cause. And I thank the People's Party for coming out and supporting us. I'm by no means a career politician. I work for a living, come from a family of 7. We are a descendant of immigrants. My grandmother came here in the 70s, and I will still uphold Canada, is what I was taught to believe in. But I won't bore you to death with a lengthy speech or whatnot. Let's all just get together and wait. I have Maurice Cormier coming up, neighbor, Etobicoke South.
Hi. He said he got 7 family members, and they're all voting for me. I'm the candidate for Etobicoke Center. Like most of the candidates, we're not politicians, but I've been a political junkie all my life, and I was on 212 winning campaigns. And what happened with all these campaigns I helped, although I was close to the candidates, I can never get a call back. Okay? So one thing I'm going to do in Etobicoke, I'm going to return the call back. And one good news, you see this sign? Liberals and Conservatives and NDP in Etobicoke Center, keep stealing them because we'll put them more and we'll beat you guys. Okay? It's all for freedom. I want speech loud, but a speech from the heart. Okay? Okay, folks, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm just going to say a few words. My name is Radu. I'm one of the candidates in this city. I run for Beaches, East York. I come from a former communist, socialist country. I've been here for 30 years from Romania. I lived my youth, and I was born in that country under communism and socialism, and I could see it coming here. I ran away from that. I couldn't take it anymore. Even after the regime changed in that country, the mentality remained. And I moved away, looking for freedom, thinking that freedom will be here and it will be here to stay. And that freedom is running away from us. I hate to say it. If we don't fight it now, if we don't get our foot in the door right now, it will probably be too late 4 years from now. I need all the good people to put their fists up and put their best intention out. The CBC people, I cannot believe all the CBC good people are letting us down. There's got to be good people in the CBC, in the media. How can all the good people let us down? This is a regime change almost in this country. And I'm going to tell you something. If you and all the people you know actually understood that what the PPC stands for and what the PPC is aiming for is actually going to change Canada, and it's the only party that has a platform and that has a will to change Canada, nobody will be in their right mind will be able to vote for anybody else. We are the only ones that have a plan to revive the economy, to cut the money printing, to put money back into your pockets, to reduce the cost of living, tackle climate change. Anybody here worried about climate change? Hell no! Anybody here worried about unsustainable immigration? We are not against immigration. Just so everybody is clear, we are not against that. We are against unsustainable immigration. I had to go through loops. I had to have an education. I had to have money. I have to speak the language to be admitted to come to this country. We had so many people being brought here as refugees. And I hate to say it, they're not really refugees, they're economic migrants. Refugees implies that the refugee, they go around the countries where they are, where it's the same culture, maybe they speak the same language. But we are an open country. We welcome everybody. It's just that we need to look for our interests first. This government doesn't put our interests first anymore. The money is being siphoned out to other governments, to different non-governmental organizations outside of Canada. I would like you all to reflect on this and to talk to everybody that you can. We have a few days to flatten the lies. As Maxime put it, just a few days to flatten the lies. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to ask everybody to move up because I have something to say that you should hear. So come on up closer. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. I know how you're all feeling right now. Let me introduce myself. My name is Vincent Gerses. I was an Ontario Provincial Police Officer for 32 years. I am now retired, and I am not representing my agency or any active police agency. I'm a member of a group, an international group of retired and active police officers known as Police for Freedom. And Police for Freedom started in Spain and worked its way around the world. And there are many, many, many police officers on board and fully understanding what we are going through, not only in this country, in many other countries. Now, I need to say that I'm not here to endorse the PPC. I do not, and Police for Freedom does not endorse any political party. I'm here because I was invited by the PPC to come here and speak. If the Liberal Party or the Conservative Party or any other party invited me to speak, I would speak there as well. And I would say the same thing to them that I'm going to say to you. And that is that there are numerous police officers over the last few weeks who have come on board on side with understanding, recognizing the coercion that is taking place, the criminal offenses against the citizens that are taking place, the violation of the rights against the citizens of this country. And the group was in the dozens, turned into hundreds, and is now in the thousands in Ontario. We have fire services on board, we have hospitals on board, hospital workers on board, and we have many EMS workers on board. The number of those people far outweighs the number of police officers, so do the math and figure out how many people are coming on board with this messaging. Back in the Second World War, the Soviet Union and the Nazi parties, they were very effective at conditioning their population with what was known as propaganda. And they had, on the Nazi side, they had what was known as the Ministry of Truth, and on the Soviet side, they had Pravda. We here in Canada have what we call the CBC and mainstream media that is heavily funded, essentially only exists by the funding of the government, and by definition is, in its purest form, the propaganda arm of our current government. This group, Police for Freedom, clearly identifies the extent of propaganda being used against populations. And the core of Police for Freedom is to identify what is truth and ensure that truth is revealed, that the messaging of truth in what we are dealing with comes out. There are two sides to every story, and we are only hearing one side. The propagandists ensure that you will only hear one side. We will never hear the other side of the story, the other effective side of the story. And I believe most of the people here understand that. So you are aware, the groups and members joining up with Police for Freedom intend to very closely monitor the activities of our officials to hold them accountable, because we really have a lack of accountability in our government, to observe what is happening, the statements that are being made, the level of coercion that is being used against your population, and then to take action, to take effective action to push back against that. And we will be utilizing many, many members of the public to assist us in providing the information and pooling the resources, pooling the data, pulling the truth together and working it into a courtroom. Just so you know, you are not alone. You are not alone, and we will push back.
Hey, put some batteries in that thing. Check, check, check. How's everybody feeling out there today? Why'd you guys come out here today? Freedom. Yeah, well, one thing I know is when Pepe Le Pew said it was okay for us to smoke weed, I didn't know he's going to be blowing smoke in your face and up your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you guys got to wake up. Do you understand? Wake up. Because one thing you got to realize, the one person you should be afraid of is our God, our Lord Jesus Christ. Okay? Because I don't know how someone who's made many miracles, who's healed many people, who's had many rallies, who's saved people, who's died on the cross, rose again, who's got the #1 book in the world, and you guys are not scared of him? This is what you guys got to do, man. I want you guys to say this with me. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Say that. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Every day when you get up, wake up. Because the media is doing this. The media is the virus. Okay? You got to realize something. Like, check this out. There's people who can go watch a horror movie. Go there and you're like, oh, okay. It's over, you go home, go to sleep, wake up, next day. There's other people, all of a sudden they can't go to sleep with the lights off, or they need somebody there. Okay? This is the media capturing your mind. That's what the cult is. So if you want to join the cult, that's what you're going to be doing. Amen? Okay, so that's why you got to wake up. Okay? Because I'm sure you've heard this before. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. But you know what? You're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to die. Wake up, people. You got to recognize, think for yourself. Okay? I'm going to say this again. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Say that with me. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. See? Every day, say that in the mirror. Okay? Don't let them come to you and say, okay, listen, I'm not going to raise your taxes, and I'm going to give you guys a tip. Like, come on now. Wake up, people. Okay? The jab thing. Like, who am I? But how is it that people that are doing heroin, meth, coke, all these things, they're doing their own type of jab? But to me, it seems like they're better off because they're still walking around. Amen. You see what I'm saying? Wake up, people. Walk in the light while you still have the light. I'm going to say that again. Walk in the light while you still have the light. Listen. Every day, I wear the shield, the breastplate, the helmet, and I carry that sword. And you know what? You think I'm scared of y'all? I'm only scared of God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Let's say this again. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. I want to speak to the ladies. Listen, I love the ladies. But you know what? You guys got to help us fellas out, because even since before the Me Too, that's when you were being conditioned, just like the scamdemic, to not trust men, don't like men, hate men, all that garbage. And you know what? You lose. Because do men talk to you now? Okay, so once in a while, say hello. Like, don't you remember when you used to go out and the guy, even if he came up and gave you a corny line like, hey, beautiful, whatever, and even though you knew in your mind that guy's talking shit, he paid attention to you. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Amen? You guys got to realize something. You are the PPC. Like, just think for a second. Who was it that told you to put a mask on when all this started in the beginning? Okay, did they come to your house, kick down the door, put guns to your head and say, hey, you got to put a mask on, okay? No, you put the mask on. Take the mask off. The mask does not work. Okay, don't you remember when doctors, they never used to wear masks, even in surgery, remember? And if they did, they took it off, went and got another one. Like, I don't know, how many people like wearing a diaper on their face? Come on. Okay, when was the last time you guys left your house without, okay, do I got my sanitizer? Do I have my gloves? Do I have my phone? They got to track me. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Are you guys listening to me? Wake up! Because God is the only one who's going to back your play. Okay? When you got Trudeau flying all around the country buying the expired booster shots that India, Russia, and all these places have rejected, so why are we buying it? Because remember, they love and adore you guys. Right? Okay. Yes, and that's why you guys have to think for yourself, because that's what they don't want you to do. They don't want to give you a memory. Remember in the beginning? Yeah, 2 weeks. Like, we're in 2 years, man. Like, I went to school, I can count. Wake up, people. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? You have to remember, be strong, okay? Stop falling for all the head fakes, okay? Watch shows like Three's Company, Benny Hill. Watch shows that are not telling you to scare yourself. Like, I didn't know that in the Bible it says, when you hear about wars and rumors and wars, it says to panic, put on a mask, be 6 feet, and take the experimental jab. Now, thank you. I just want to ask you guys a question. Do you think God is worrying about this right now? That's right, because he said in the Bible, when these things are going on, he says, don't worry, I got you. Many will be deceived through the media, through your friends, through athletes, through entertainers. Many will come in my name, like Fauci, Trudeau, Theo Biden, etc., etc. You guys need to think for yourself. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Wake up! How many people have family members that you're not allowed to go to their house because you're not wearing a mask or you got the jab? How many people have friends that are not allowed to come to your house because you don't want to play hide and seek? See, that's what's up. And that's why, there you go. And that's why we all have to stand up, because all I hear is people doing this. Okay? Unity. Okay? People need to start allowing the people to start communicating and talking to each other. So right now, I want everybody here to turn to each other and shake hands and say, hi, how are you doing? Everybody, say hello. What's up? Okay? Be disobedient to what they're telling you. Say hello to everybody. How you doing? Oh, thank you very much. See? Human contact. I've been shaking people's hands forever. I've shook thousands and thousands and thousands of hands. I've hugged people. What? I'm still here. What? This is what you need to do. Turn to one another. Interact. Plus that, I'm going to talk about the black thing. Listen, when Trudeau did that blackface thing, when he staged that, well, guess what? I'm black, and I got a face, and I don't need to stage jack shit. Okay, this is real right here. Okay? Don't be scared to stand beside each other. Like, remember when you'd be in a packed club, there's like 1,500 people. Everybody, somebody got pneumonia, cold, they still taking their Valium. They're at the club jamming. Did they shut the bar down? Listen, somebody could pass gas right now, you're like, get away from me, man, I'm calling the cops. Like, yo, man, wake up. Your own immunity is better than what they're preaching to you. Wake up, people, wake up. Like, don't set your alarm for 6:30 so you could get to watch the news to tell you it's 90 degrees outside, the sky is blue, birds are chirping, stay in your house. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Say that. Hey, that's for you guys to do. Do you understand? Use your own brain. Think for yourself. Know who your friends are. Know who your enemies are. Know who your neighbors are. Okay? Because when shit goes down, who are you going to call? No, you're not. You need to be able to call somebody that you should be able to go over to their house. Okay? Not somebody calling the cops because you were smoking weed or you were playing some music. Why don't you see Trudeau or Ford or the people that's keeping you from living the life that you've all wanted to live? Anyways, one more time because I'm out of here. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's right. My name is Rick, dark and lovely. You can reach me on darkmantriniblack.com. That's what's up, man.
Thank you, Rick, very much. Okay, sorry I'm here again. My name is Maurice Cormier, candidate for Etobicoke Center. One of the things I like with Maxime and the People's Party, within our own riding, we allowed to create a local policy that improves the local. Please, Linda, come with your group. And the group that I'm going to support is Protect Canadian Children. And I'm going to ask my friend Linda just to say a few words because she could talk longer than this guy. But she'll talk. And the first piece of legislation that I will do when I come elected is to have a bill for protection of our children. So we're going to work with the local people, and we're going to come up with a bill that they'll have no choice to approve. Okay, Linda, please.
Hello. First of all, I need to apologize. I'm not a great speaker, so I'm going to try to make it short as possible. Since 2007, I have been researching what's happening to the children in foster care and group home. Our children are dying. The children's aid have taken over our kid. The parent has no more power. Now, I have approached the Queen, the Governor General, name it, everybody, every group, the Green Party, this party, Doug Ford, Prime Minister Trudeau. They don't want to see me. Even the independent media doesn't want to talk to me. I wrote a magazine, and that magazine is a book of evidence. We all have to be scared because now our children are in danger, and no one are putting the children on their platform this year. And we demand that the children in foster care or group home are being put in their platform. If they are not on their platform, don't vote.
Thanks, Linda, but you can bet he'll be on my platform in Etobicoke Center. You got that right. Okay, thanks, folks. Okay.
What's going on, Toronto? What a great turnout so far. My name's Cole Squire, and I'm the People's Party of Canada candidate for Brantford Brant in southwestern Ontario. Where's my Brantford Brant people out here today? So you guys, we've had a really trying last year and a half with everything that's been going on. We've been locked out of our businesses, we've been closed out of our schools, and while they were trying to tell us to wait for these vaccines to roll out, we're now seeing these vaccine passports come out. And I want to stress to everybody here, the People's Party of Canada does not care if you wear no masks, 1 mask, 2 masks, or 3 masks. You're adults, you can make your own decisions when it comes to protecting your health. Now, there's a lot of polarization in our country right now. As I said, we don't care when it comes to the masking. When it comes to the vaccinations as well, that's your choice to make as a free citizen in our country. But when it comes to the vaccine passports, that is where we draw the line. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are history buffs, but in World War II, our men and women fought and gave their lives to put an end to these show me your papers policies in Nazi Germany. And here we are in 2021 staring this type of tyranny in the face in our own land. It's absolutely egregious, and we have to hold the line. We cannot allow this to happen in our country. This is going to create 2 tiers of citizens, and this isn't going to happen on my watch, your watch, or the People's Party of Canada's watch. Now, as I said, there's a lot of polarization and division going on in our country right now. They're trying to pit us against maskers, anti-maxers, vaxxers, anti-vaxxers. This is really divisive and dangerous rhetoric that we can't allow or tolerate in our country. And you know, I don't play the identity politics card, but I am a member of Six Nations Reserve. I'm a member of the Mohawk Nation and a proud First Nations person and a proud Canadian. Now, as I was saying, I don't like to play the identity politics card, but I will play it to dispel the woke bullshit we're seeing from the Communist Broadcasting Corporation and other fake news in Canada. Now, as I said, you guys, we can't allow them to continue to divide and polarize us. We need unity in this country like we've never seen before. Now, another little part of history. Canada was founded on the principles of mutual respect and cooperation between our First Nations people and our then British settlers that were coming over to find a new life. That type of cooperation and mutual respect built Canada, and we need that again today to save Canada. So you guys too, you might look at some of the polls. I tell people, don't look at the bad polls, only look at the good polls. And you know what? When you look at them, they're totally skewed. How they excluded our federal leader, Maxime Bernier, from participating in the federal leaders debate because he apparently thought we had some type of decline in support since the last time in the 2019 election. If anyone thinks that our momentum and our movement slowed down in the slightest since 2019, go shake your head. The purple wave did start out. It is now a purple tsunami. This tsunami's coming from the West Coast and it's going all the way to the East Coast. Now you guys should be proud of yourself. This is a very pivotal and important moment in our nation's history, and this wouldn't be possible without all of you guys. So give yourselves a big round of applause. It is a great honor and a privilege to be a part of this movement, and I'm very proud to be a part of such a movement with the People's Party of Canada, with Maxime Bernier. This man has stood by his guns and his principles, even if it costed him the Conservative Party leadership. But you know what? I'm happy that he left the Conservative Party of Canada, because they're now just a liberal light party. This is not only just a conservative movement, this is a movement for all freedom-loving Canadians in our country. I said you guys all should be very, very proud of yourselves. We're fighting for the future of our country, the rights and freedoms of our future generations, and we are not going to continue to tolerate this divisive and dangerous rhetoric, whether it's coming from Justin Trudeau, Aaron O'Toole, Jagmeet Singh, or any other party leader out there. As I said, they want us to be focused on class warfare, fighting against each other, so that we're distracted from the real issues that are going on in Canada. We're not stupid. We know exactly what they're doing. This part of this global communist coup is not going to be welcomed in Canada, and we are going to hold the line. We will not be a post-national state with no core identity. We have culture and our values and our principles in our country that unite us. And as I said earlier, these are things that our men and women who served, fought to uphold, defend, and protect. And this is our generation's duty to do the same today. All right, now I don't want to take too much time, but as many of you guys know, we're gathered here today at our taxpayer-funded building, as I said, the Communist Broadcasting Corporation. We are going to defund the propagandist fake news CBC. And you know, look, our Canadian taxpayers, we're no longer going to purchase Rosemary Barton's designer outfits anymore. So you're going to have to start shopping at Valley Village or somewhere else. Yeah, you know, you guys, Elections Canada, they've been great. There's been a lot of concerns. Unfortunately, we didn't fill all 338 ridings across Canada. We did a stronger vetting process this year. They put out the snap election to make it seem like we wouldn't be ready, but we've been gearing up for this for months and months and months. There's going to be a lot of positive surprises come September 20th. They're going to understand that we are not a fringe minority group. We are here to stay. We are going to continue building our momentum regardless what happens on Monday, September 20th. So right now, many of you guys know we're paying over $1 billion a year out of your hard-earned taxpayers' dollars to keep this failed company afloat. They have less than 30% national viewership each night, and I wonder why. Does anyone here watch the CBC at night? Does anybody think they have honest and integrative journalism coming out from the CBC? Do you think they're a little bit biased or one-sided when it comes to covering important issues in our country? Do you guys think it's fair that Canadian taxpayers foot the bill for this failed establishment that continues to prop up the Liberals and the globalists in Canada? That's right. I said, you know what? We are a broke nation right now. We're approaching $1.5 trillion in debt. This is record debt. We can't continue to bleed our country dry. We're borrowing money from our children that aren't even born yet right now. And you know, these types of cuts, they're not going to affect the people that rely on them the most in our country. But you know what? We can defund the CBC. We'll save Canadian taxpayers $1 billion. We will stop wasteful corporate welfare that rigs the economy and favors some businesses over others. This is going to save Canadian taxpayers anywhere between another $5 to $10 billion. And you know, I have to point it out while I'm here. The NDP, they say that they're against the wealthy in our country. They want to have a wealth tax. Where was Jagmeet Singh or anyone from the NDP while our medium and small businesses went into bankruptcy and closed their doors over the last 18 months? They did not care about Walmart or Costco bringing in record profits, and even now with these vaccinations, some of these failing pharmaceutical companies are now seeing record profits in their margins. So this is total hypocritical of the NDP. And you know, we're not just bringing in conservative votes. People say that PPC is just splitting the vote. We're splitting the vote from all the parties because everyone in Canada is sick and tired of what's going on in our country. So it said, I'm really proud to be able to be a candidate for the People's Party of Canada. I'm proud to have gotten to know so many wonderful candidates, such as Ian Roden here from Spadina, York. You guys, we got to get him into office, so continue reaching out, supporting your local candidates. Even back in our home riding there, we have Wendy Martin here from Oxford County. Give it up for Wendy. Also give a shout out to my other local candidate in my area in Haldeman, Norfolk, Ken Gilpin. It said we have patriots standing up across the country, and it's our duty to do so that we're protecting the future of our nations, our future generations, and we need to save our children in this country. We cannot allow this type of tyranny for them to grow up in. They've missed out on some of the most important milestones in their life, whether this was graduations, competing in competitive sports, or even being able to have birthday parties or enjoy having just a play date with their friends. It's unprecedented what the type of abuse we put forward to them. And what was the establishment's response? I think they said something like, oh, our children are resilient. If you look at Bell Helpline this last year, twice as many calls as the year before. 4 million children phone this helpline because they are at their wits' end right now. We need to fight for our children and protect our children. Now again, I don't like to play the identity politics, but I also have to point out a lot of the woke politicians, the media and establishment, were quick to come out and say, every child matters. No kidding, we do not need to be told that by Justin Trudeau or anyone else. But you know what else? These politicians in the media were completely silent over the harms that our children of today faced. We cannot change our history. Anyone here would agree that it was an atrocity what happened in those Indian residential schools. And do you know what else? You know how those children got to these Indian residential schools? In 1867, Alexander Mackenzie, the Liberal Prime Minister of a Liberal party, put in the racist Indian Act that put our children into these schools, segregated our First Nations peoples onto reserves, and classified us as second-class citizens in our own country. So myself, I'm going to make sure that we're continuing to educate people and fight back on this Indian Act. I think it needs to be completely abolished, and I'll have that conversation with our First Nations people. Now, well, I don't want to take too much time of you guys this afternoon. I know you're here to hear from a lot more better speakers than myself. But you know what else? The establishment, they recently passed the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Now, I had a lot of trouble with this. I never heard that term too much before, being a First Nations person. So I did a little research. I went on to Google, and I looked up, define what an Indigenous person is. And it said naturally occurring or originating from anywhere. So I said, that makes us all Indigenous in Canada. We do not need a corrupt global establishment dictating to us how we treat our people within our own country. We have a Bill of Rights. We have a Charter of Rights. We uphold human rights in our country, and we do not need the corrupt, dysfunctional United Nations telling us what to do. So I think we're going to repeal and abolish UNDRIP. I think we're also going to repeal and abolish the United Nations Paris Climate Accord, the Global Compact on Migration, and we will fight to put our citizens and our country first ahead of this corrupt global bureaucracy that is hell-bent on global communism. There's a lot riding on September 20th, and as I said, it doesn't matter. I'm sure we're going to get a few good seats into Ottawa, and some opposition is better than no opposition. The Conservatives should have done their job the last 18 months, the last few decades, to make sure that our country wasn't in such a mess that it is today. So as I said, we're going to have some strong candidates elected into Ottawa. We're going to make sure your voices are heard, our concerns are heard, and that our country remains that true north, strong and free. So as I said, this election's not over by any means. We have 5 days left to flatten the tyranny, to flatten the lies, and to save Canada. The future of our country depends on us getting some strong candidates into Ottawa to make sure that our country remains strong and free, and that we're not going to continue to succumb to these globalist, divisive ideologies that they're pushing out so far. Now I have to quote this while I'm here too. I believe President Donald Trump. What do you guys think of him out here? I know he's a polarizing guy, but he tells it like it is. And you know what? I like when he said, everything woke turns to shit. And that's what we're seeing in our country right now. No more of this woke virtue signaling identity politics. We treat all Canadians equally. We don't care about your race or your ethnicity, your sexual orientation, or your personal religious ideologies. Or whether you have a vaccination or not. You know, these things, They are important puzzle pieces to your overall self. But we care about your character, we care about your integrity, and most of all, we care that you will stand up to make sure Canada remains a free and prosperous country for everybody in our land. Thank you, guys.
Vote PPC, y'all. I'm out.
Whoa, let's hear it for Cole Squire! Woo! Great words. Come on up here, Joe. My name's Dermot Pomeroy, and before I get started, I'd just like to know if anyone sees any reporters here from CBC. Can anyone point them out? Are they here? Not one reporter next to CBC building right here, and there's a big rally. Isn't that funny? So I'd like to start because we're probably going to see some of this on the news tonight, and they'll probably paint us as anti-vaxxers or anti-maskers or whatever. So just for the record, I'd like everyone to repeat after me. And I want everyone in that building to hear us. We are not anti-vax. We are pro-choice. We are pro-freedom. Thank you. All right. So I'd like to start off, introduce myself. My name is Dermot Pomeroy. I'll try and keep this short because I got a few people that are going to speak here. And I want to talk about small grassroots initiatives. At the beginning of this tyranny 18 months ago, along with many other people, I started going to the protest downtown at Queen's Park and looking for something to do. It's a long story, so I'll try and give you the Coles Notes version and just let you know where we are today. So I went back home. I'm from Oshawa. I started a group in Durham region called Rise Up Durham. Just a Facebook group. We've got over 2,000 members there right now. We hold protests, rallies, and whatnot, and through that, we met so many beautiful people. So many beautiful people. A lot of you guys are here today. I've lost a few friends along the way, but I've gained a lot more. So through that grassroots organization, other things developed. We opened up another initiative, openupyourbusiness.ca. We tried to help some businesses out with keeping their businesses open. Fast forward, they shut the parks down. Kids couldn't play. They weren't allowed in the parks. We pushed back and decided we're going to organize some kids' play dates at the parks. Bylaw came, police came. We interacted with them, and we just kept on, and we started having these play dates. I developed Game On Canada with the help of Take Action Canada. Ryan Penn and Sherry St. Louis reached out to me. They designed a website for us, and it's basically an actionable item we're doing for our kids. So that's up and running. It's a website you can find at gameoncanada.org. And from there, what's happened, there's a gentleman here I'm going to speak about. His name is Joe Anajar. Sorry. He started a Facebook group 2 weeks ago. Originally, the name of it was something like Parents Against Vaccinated Your Kids in Sport, but he changed the name to, short and sweet, it is Youth Sports Freedom Fighters. And what it is, right now, they're forcing vaccine mandates on the kids in all our sports, and he started the group. Within 2 weeks, he's got 6,000 members. So Joe reached out to me because someone told him that I was trying to do stuff for the kids. We're going to network together and work on a few things. But what's come out of that, we had a lot of people telling us about what the rights are and, how to stand behind the rights. Because in Canada, they don't have the right to force vaccine on us. We know that. But we need to put together an information package. And what we've done, through the help of Jody Ledgerwood and Chris Weisdorf, they came up with an information package. And it's basically all of your rights are in there explaining everything about this vaccine policy that's illegal. And the problem is right now, the government is tricking businesses into thinking that they have to come up with a mandatory vaccine policy. And they don't. All the government is saying that you have to have a vaccine policy. So most people don't understand that. They implement a vaccine policy that's illegal. And what we're doing is we're sending the information package to these businesses, to these organizations, to sports organizations. We're having a little bit of success. But right now, what we're trying to do is get this information package online. It'll be on Game On Canada, which is also a Facebook group. There's also a website, gameoncanada.org. And Youth Sport Freedom Fighters is a website or a Facebook group as well. All of this information with the information that you can send off and hold these people accountable in the higher ups, whether it's the Ontario Minor Hockey Association, Oshawa Minor Hockey Association, to GTHL, the soccer leagues, and I just heard yesterday that the soccer leagues, I think it was the Ontario Soccer League, yeah, OSA, has reversed their mandates because someone sent this type of information package in and explained what the laws were. So we've got 6,000 people in that group alone, plus all of us, pushing back on this. So I'm not going to go on too much longer. I just want to push this. Youth Sports Freedom Fighters, Game On Canada, and also if you want to reach me, because Joe and I are working together, you can reach me through Dermot@GameOnCanada.org. That's Dermot@GameOnCanada.org. Dermot is DERMOT at GameOnCanada.org. We want to get this information package into as many parents' hands as we can, send it up to chain of command, push back and overturn these vaccine policies because it's illegal. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's illegal. Right now, over in the UK, they just overturned all this, and that's what we're trying to do here. And I'd like to give a big thank you to the PPC for allowing me to speak here. Normally speaking, I don't really endorse any political party. I stopped voting a few years ago. But guess what? I'm voting PPC this year, and I encourage everyone else to do it. They're the only party that is pushing back on these vaccine policies. So PPC all the way. And I want to give another shout out to Daryl Mackey in Oshawa. Daryl Mackey came out to Rise Up Durham, met him. He's a great godly man. He was holding church services for us. He's a great family man. He stepped up to the plate and decided to run for PPC. And we also have Patricia Conlin that's running in the North Oshawa area. So let's hear it for those two.
And Thomas Androvic in Whitby.
All right, I'm going to pass it off to Joe. Let him say a few words, then we'll get Jody up. This is Joe Anajar, sorry.
Thanks a lot, Dermot. I'm extremely excited to be with you guys today. This is something definitely new for me. I just felt like it was my place to really step up and create this group. You want me to push it?
Touch your lips. No COVID on it.
All right, I'll put COVID on it. So guys, as I was saying, I created this group 2 weeks ago for families who were being forced to take a vaccination, players that are being forced to take a vaccination. And what I wanted to do is basically get as many people, as much support as we can get, and really fight back hard against this mandate. I'm a hockey guy. I have a son who's also dealing with this same situation, so it really puts fire under my ass. Guys, I want to let you know we are 6,000 families strong, and I don't see us stopping, guys. I myself, I will not stop until these mandates are done, until our kids can play without discrimination, without ostracizing them, so we can all be together. And that's what Canadians are all about, being together. I want to tell you guys, I've received so many messages from fathers, from mothers who are distraught. They feel alone. They don't know what to do. And my message to them is, I have your back. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to lose many friends. I may lose support, but I know I'm doing the right thing for our children, for our future, for their future.
How many friends you got today?
Look at all the friends I just made. Guys, this is Canada. It's our time to take back our country, and it's our time to do it now. Let's go! As I said, guys, I want to thank everyone that's here to support PPC Party. I want to thank everyone who is bringing the signs. I mean, the support's incredible, guys. I want to thank this man right here, Dermot, for putting me on, taking me under his wing, and everyone else. Oh, one more, Carol, for making this sick sweater. I know you're out there somewhere. I can't see you, but thank you very much. Guys, once again, my name is Joe Anajar. I'm leading the fight for the Youth Sport Freedom Fighters, and I'm not done until this is gone. Thank you very much.
Nice job. Hi, everybody. I'm Jody Ledgerwood. I'm part of the Rise Up Durham crew. I, in collaboration with Chris Weisdorf and Jeanette Miller, put together an information session called Know Your Rights. So many of us don't know our rights. The schools don't teach our rights anymore. So we are running scared every time the government says, here's a new mandate. Well, the truth of the matter is a mandate is not law. A mandate is a suggestion or a recommendation that you must consent to. Without your consent, it means nothing. The 4 most important words you need to know right now are, I do not consent. You need to teach it to your children, and you need to stand in your square and say it strong and proud. I do not consent. Repeat after me, I do not consent.
I do not consent.
Now remember that when your employer comes to you and says, you need a vaccine to work here, say, I do not consent. When the Sports Association says your children need to have a vaccine in order to play, what do you say? Excellent. Remember that. If you need these packages, you can reach out to GameOn.org. You can reach out to Rise Up Durham. You can reach out to myself, Jody Ledgerwood. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Google my name. I come up. I'm everywhere. I'm a local realtor in Northumberland County, so you can find me really, really easily. It's about a 50-page package, and actually almost every day I add more pages to it because I'm finding more and more tyrannical mandates coming down that I have to fight back with. Now, these packages include with it your Canadian Bill of Rights, because your Canadian Bill of Rights cannot be overrun by any policy. You cannot policy outside the law. You cannot. The government does not have policy on vaccines because they know they cannot policy outside the law and they don't want the liability. Therefore, if you are a small business right now trying to mandate and policy vaccines for your employees or your customers, I tell you, stop it. You can be brought up on criminal code charges. You can be brought up on assault, extortion, threat, harassment, and even torture charges under the criminal code. Section 265 right through to 269. I believe section 429 as well. If you are an employer or a sports organization that is mandating these vaccines, I strongly suggest you get yourself educated on what the law is. We also have a thing called the Human Rights Code. We do not discriminate for any reason. These vaccine policies people are putting into play discriminate and segregate and make us a two-tiered society. That is not the Canada I believe in. That is not the Canada you should believe in, and it's not the Canada that the PPC believe in either. That is not Canada. Canada was a democratic society that was supposed to be governed from the grassroots up. Right now, we've got the top coming down, and the top is not listening to us grassroots. So we need to make our voices heard. You need to reach out, get these packages. They've got the Human Rights Code in it, and I've done all the homework for you. I've actually highlighted the sections so you don't even have to read the entire acts. You don't even have to understand legalese. I have highlighted the sections that are important that you need. You need to take these packages and you need to send them out with letters, and I've included template letters for you. You can take them and you can edit them to whatever your situation is. We've got plenty of notice of liabilities in there. We've got stuff with regards to universities and colleges. We've got stuff for the sports. We've got stuff for your employers. We got stuff in there on how to handle your employers and the questions to ask them. We've got stuff to take the liability off of yourselves, because once you consent, you have put the liability on yourself and you have no legal recourse once you've consented. Do you understand that? I do not consent are the 4 words you need to know. I do not consent. And do not consent on behalf of your children either. Your children get one body, one chance at continuing your lineage in the future. Do not consent on their behalf. Fight back. Show your children what it means to stand in your square and stand up for yourself. Reach out. Get these packages. They've got the Human Rights Code in it. They've got the Ontario Health Act in it. It's got the Privacy Act in it. There are about 10 different privacy acts in Canada that protect you from sharing your health information with anybody. You do not have to do it. It is against the law for anybody to even ask you to do it. It also has the Genetic Non-Discrimination Act in it that says you don't have to take a PCR test or an antigen test either. It is against the law for anybody to demand that you take a DNA test, an RNA test, or a chromosome test and then share those results. It is against the law. Your employer cannot make you do that in order to keep your job. What you do when your employer brings this down is you send them a letter of intention. You send them a notice of liability. You attach the laws to it. And then you say, if you continue to go forward, I will be taking civil action against you, which you can do in small claims court without the help of a lawyer. Up to $35,000 you could get from your employer. You can also make a human rights complaint with the Human Rights Commission. That is also free. And you will be paid out because it is against the law to discriminate, especially on health basis. You've got laws that protect your health, pro-choice laws that protect your health and your rights. And then, as a final resort, you can let your employer know you will be charging them under the criminal code. And I've got those all highlighted for you too. Stand in your square. I do not consent. Reach out to Game On. Reach out to the Freedom Fighters. Reach out to Rise Up Durham. We've got these packages. My email's been blowing up. I've been doing this for about 2-3 weeks now. I've sent out, oh my goodness, probably 1,000 to 2,000 of these packages already. They are working. The OWHL went back to the discussion table to revamp their policy. Many businesses are now revamping their policy. Toyota backed down when their employees went to them. So, folks, these packages work. The law is on your side. The government is not mandating because they don't want the liability. Do not play their game. Do not get the exemptions. Play the law. The law is on your side. And remember, I do not consent.
I do not consent.
Thank you. Now
Sorry. Let's hear it for Jody Ledgerwood. Guys, that was a lot of work for that package. I think it's 47 pages long. Oh, it's 50 pages now. She keeps adding to it. But anyhow, reach out to her, reach out to me, reach out to any one of us. And Chris Weisdorf as well had some helping hand in that. I just want to say one thing. Canada was founded on the supremacy of God. We have a godly man here who's a true friend of mine, Donald Mutu, who's going to lead us in prayer. And then we're going to get up Danny DeSantos. He's running to be the next mayor of Toronto. So let's hear it for Donald Mutu first.
Thank you. Our gracious God and our Heavenly Father, we come to you this day and through the matchless name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We recognize this day that thou art God, and beside thee there is none other. We pray right now, O God, first of all, for the leaders of our nation. We pray for the leaders of all around our world, that they will make godly decisions, that they will make proper decisions based on the Word of God. We pray, O God, for the rights and freedoms of everyone here and around our country and around our city. We pray for our mayor, O God, and the police force and the law enforcement for the CBC. We pray for each and every home that is going through domestic upturns because of the decisions that they have made against the policies that are coming and being mandated for us to take. We pray for that you will fix these things, oh God. We prayed, oh God, that you will bless the leaders of Rise Up Durham and all the other groups, the Rise Up groups throughout our nation and throughout our land, oh Lord. We pray for all of the freedom fighters and this group that is represented here today. We pray for all of the PPC leaders. Oh God, we pray that you will have your way, because we trust in you, O God, a God that is unfailing, a God that loves each and every one of us. We thank you. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Donald. Let's hear it for Danny DeSantos, I believe, is up next, right?
So again, my name is Ian Roden. I'm the candidate in the area. Next up, we have Danny DeSantis. I just want to say we're a federal party, and we admit that the federal government has failed big time. But anyone can see that Toronto is failing. I door-knocked a gentleman, and his daughter was pedophile tried to lure her into a park. They called the police. The police couldn't really do anything about it. And they saw in the newspaper that he was arrested a few days later. Thank God. A few days after that, he was back out on the street because of COVID overcrowding. So pedophiles have more rights. In a week, pedophiles who are vaccinated will have more rights than just everyday citizens who choose what to do with their body. And it's disgusting. John Tory has not shown any leadership. He's hiding in his $7 million condo. We need to shake things up at the local level. So let's hear it for Danny DeSantis, and he's going to say a few words.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everybody. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of warriors. I like this. So I'm going to say a couple words. I think some people see me talk already, so I don't want to be repetitive. But I got to say a couple things, that there's a movement happening. I see it in what I'm doing, and I see what's happening right here. You know, something that touched me, and these words were, it's hard watching what I watched. I think everybody watched. Sir, do you have any weapons with you? No, only my words. Those are the words, powerful words, that Maxine told that officer, and I'm sure that everybody knows what happened. You know, Canada has really, really changed. And my parents, Italian, came from Italy. And we came to Canada because it was a land of the free. Freedom of speech, freedom of movement. You know, and I don't see that right now. We have to fight to speak. Our men in blue, I love ya, and I know you're on our side. But when politicians use our men in blue to arrest us, to ticket us, you know we have a problem. And you know the people will come out. Let me tell you something. There's one thing politicians fear. It's the force of the people. The force of the people. Don't make a mistake about it. And by the way, it's the silent majority right now that are home right now. They're on our side. Trust me, they'll be coming out in drones. So let me inspire you with something. And it's not about me, but down south, down south, there's a governor, DeSantis, holding the whole United States of America on his shoulders, fighting for freedom right now. And soon, there's going to be a DeSantis making a move right in the north, fighting for freedom, putting all the Torontonians on his shoulder. And I'm right here, 5'9". So you guys wanted me to come out, right? That's what they wanted me to come out, right? The politicians? Well, let me tell you something. I never take no for an answer. I'm an entrepreneur, did very well. Very well. So I'd love to see how they're going to figure it out. You know, they've done a disservice to mainstream media. They've conditioned and lied to the people. You better get ready, because there's going to be a change all across the board, because I'm going to run a comprehensive campaign, an inclusive campaign that will bring all people together, because it's the right thing to do. We have a lot of division, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to bring people together. The mainstream media is dividing people. The politicians are dividing people. My movement will bring people together. Don't make a mistake about it. I'm about freedom. I'm about people can make their own decision on what they want to inject in their body. You wanna go do it, get vaxxed, or you don't want, doesn't matter to me. You better do your research though. So I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight tooth and nail, and I'm thinking about it. You know, I want someone to go down to Nathan Phillips, Toronto, and put John Tory on notice, because the DeSantis train's coming, and there's nothing that anybody's gonna do to stop it, not the mainstream media, not the politicians, because I got the force of the people. When you got the people, you'll win. We will win. We will win. I promise you. I promise you. Love over fear, ladies and gentlemen. So continue the fight, and I love this movement. It's a great thing, you know. You know, Maxine speaks that language that I speak. So we need to support him. You know, one of the guys that we need to get rid of, and dangerous right now, is Justin Trudeau. I mean, you take a look at a silver spoon kind of guy, a trust fund baby that has no idea. He hasn't done what I've done, and I'm not running, right? But John Tory, same thing. He hasn't done what I've done. I started from the bottom to the top. When my dad told me when I was 16 years old, he said, go figure it out. And I did. So I'm in my I'm mid-40s, and I'm ready to fight. So we have a DeSantis, and I'm going to fight for the people. I'm going to fight for the people. Freedom's going to win. Continue your movement, and let people know. Let people know about DeSantis. Let people know about Maxine. He's an incredible guy. I don't know if he's going to creep up behind me. No, he's not here yet, but I love this movement, guys, and go out and support. I'd love to meet the rest of the people that I haven't met. I got little business cards. I might even come out with a couple hats. Thank you. Thank you. So there you have it, guys. I'm DeSantis.
I hope Tory heard that from his condo, and I hope he gets a haircut and takes off his mask. So next up, we got Josephine from Concerned Students of Ontario. Yesterday, we went to U of T, and we did a little event just saying how the lockdowns failed and trying to challenge some of these students and wake them up. And this is the first time I'm saying this. We told them, turn on your TV. Turn your TV on, flick on college football in the States, see how there's 70,000 to 100,000 students per stadium, enjoying life, living life, getting back to normal. Meanwhile, they're walking around campus with a mask on alone. These are supposed to be our best and brightest. We need to help our kids, help wake them up that what is going on is wrong, and they need to wake up and look at the data. So without further ado, here's Josephine. She's nervous, and I don't blame her because the students, they're captured, man. So we need to support people like Josephine.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Josephine. I'm a university student, and this year I'm not allowed to go anywhere on campus apparently because I'm refusing to disclose any information, any medical information, whether I'm vaccinated or not. And that's not right. Why am I paying thousands of dollars to go to school to get an education and then go, whoa, you can't step on campus because we need to know your medical information? That was never a thing before. I'm paying to be here. You're paying through your tax dollars to have people get OSAP to go to school. Now people are being barred from that. That is absolutely wrong. This is just tyrannical. So I started Concerned Students of Ontario because the future is ours and the future is our responsibility. And all we're seeing right now is the abdication of responsibility. That, you have to get vaccinated. You have to wear a mask to protect other people. No, your health is your responsibility. It's not anyone else's. If you are a student, if you are a parent of a student, if you are faculty and staff, please reach out to us at Concerned Students of Ontario, csont.ca. We are here to help you. We have over 100 students throughout the province actively fighting back. They are going to school regardless of whether they're whatever their status is. They don't care. They're marching onto campus because security cannot do anything to you. They cannot touch you. It is assault if they do. Go to class. Just go to class. Live your life like it's 2019. You do not need permission from someone else. You do not. So please reach out to us if you need help. We are here to help you, okay? We are Concerned Students of Ontario. Thank you.
I hope the people at CBC heard that from a right-winger, a liberal arts student, U of T, crazy right-winger, crazy girl. What is she talking? Do you hear that, CBC? Do you want to come down and interview someone about something that's actually important? Next up, we have Peter Terrace from Niagara, a fantastic guy. He's doing great things, and he's probably going to take his seat.
Oh, thank you, Ian. So, what George Orwell, what he said about the media, he said that the media tells you what they want you to believe. And, I think all of us here, at one point or another, believe that we know what is best for our neighbors, for our street, for everyone else, for our community. We can all fall into that trap. We can all fall into the trap of believing that we know what is best for everyone. In fact, every dictator in history has been able to rationalize their actions as moral and just. And how does a society protect itself from one person or one group forcing on the rest of us what they think is good for us? And that is freedom for all. We all need to be able to choose what is best for us, especially when it comes to our own bodily autonomy. We cannot have our bodily autonomy violated by our state. Now, I guess the media has not, CBC has missed some of these stats, but you'd think now that we have the vaccine, the death rate in 2021 would be lower. So the UN death rate in 2020 was 7.612. That was when we had the pandemic raging. People were dying in India on the streets as they were walking along the streets. They were just dropping dead. We were being shown these all this fear porn from all over the world. Now we have the vaccine. We've got the cure to the disease. So the death rate should go down. No, it's higher. It's 7.648. So I guess in this case, the cure is worse than the disease. So, we've hinted on that. We know what the disease is. It's the media. That's the virus right now. So part of what the PPC, we want to inoculate Canada against lies. And the way we're going to inoculate Canada is by defunding the CBC and ending all media bailouts. So Jordan Peterson, he has a quote. I'm going to start with a quote, end with a quote. He says that following rules doesn't necessarily make you moral. It may just mean that you're afraid. Okay, my name is Peter Terrace. I'm the candidate for the PPC in Niagara Falls. Thank you for coming out today, and I think Max is coming soon. Thank you.
Max is coming up soon, so we got a gap filler, though. The guy with the mullet, he's probably got some interesting things to say, so I just picked him out from the crowd. I've seen him on Twitter. He does some legendary rants while he's driving. I'm sure it's totally safe. Anyway, so this is Alex Cargill, local guy from Ajax. Just a regular dude.
Cheers, everyone. It's great to see the PPC gathering in downtown Toronto, the belly of the beast, the place they say is way too liberal to ever go PPC. Now, I live in Ajax, but I spent most of my days in the MTCC, working as an audio engineer until COVID came along and rocked all of us. And like the quote to Orwell, I was like Boxer in Animal Farm. When the utopia wasn't working out, I just said, I will work harder. We changed our whole warehouse into just this mask making facility. We're going to make the best of it. We're going to do it. I will work harder. Then keeps going. We turn ourselves into a studio much like this, but less funded by the government. We just kept saying, we'll work harder. I see all of my friends that I work with eager to travel to America again, and they can't do so because they've been told that your freedom is attached to your vaccination status. Somewhere along the line, it didn't become medical. It became linked to every one of our freedoms, and they stopped talking about the medical so much. They just said, we got a top doctor in front of you. Listen to the top doctor. Well, I like to listen to top doctors that got Nobel Prizes, like the guy who created the PCR test. Thank you. Kerry Mullis, genius, absolute genius. What did he say? I think most of us have seen that legendary 2-minute video where he said, my test is not designed to find sick people. It is a political test that they throttle high when you're unvaccinated and they dial down when you are vaccinated. Every part of this is a lie, and we're standing ironically in front of the building who could pull the thread on the biggest story of all time, yet why don't they? Why don't they? Because the sleep of reason bring forth monsters. And we've been in a coma of reason, so the monsters don't even get fought now. We just stay asleep and we let them make a nice home and they pay our media to tell us what's normal now. It's not normal. None of this is normal. And when I started following in 2019, Max Bernier, after he lost, I said, if he stops fighting, maybe I'll give up on PPC. But he didn't stop fighting. He kept going. Everything he has said has come to pass. Why are they afraid of him? Why is the only thing you see made up, ginned up Daisy Group, Kinsella Group? It's all forged, guys. They don't want our families knowing that we have the answer. We are on a conveyor belt towards the slaughterhouse, and all we need to do is step off of it. Yet what do these guys pollute the airways with? Nothing but negative energy. If you can't do it, it's never been done. That is pre-COVID event dinosaur talk. They don't know their land is extinct and that we now live in the land of unprecedented opportunity and possibilities. It would have been 1 in a million to have a socialist coup takeover of Earth pre-COVID. But guess what? They exploited the chaos they knew was coming. We are allowed to exploit that chaos too. No matter what any of the black pillars and despair energy people in your life tell you, oh, it hasn't happened. I remember the Reform Party. I remember. Go to hell. This is the land of unprecedented times. We can do anything. The only thing limiting PPC is our ability to not believe it's possible. Yes. Cheers. I agree. Yes, it may not be possible with the way that these corrupt tentacles have wrapped around the rungs of every part of our civilization. That, oh, the votes may stay in your riding, but then they're going to Ottawa, and Trudeau might take a while counting them. We can't rely on this process. It's not PPC's fault our elections are poisoned. But we do have a group. Always remember, I hope every one of these patriots gets a seat and they win a seat. But always remember, if they don't, PPC is more important to you than ever because we have been entered into an ID politics war whether you want to acknowledge it or not, and the only way to win is to stay together in the largest numbers with the best cause. We have the best cause. We don't fear anyone. We can talk to anyone. These guys don't listen. They just report. They program. You think they could have Maxime Bernier on? I remember seeing Cole Squire up here. Do you know he's a legend? Do you know when I looked into him, I just said, guys, don't accept that they're not letting you at these debates. Show up, make a scene. He did make a scene. He said, look, I'm not vaccinated. Maybe I can come in for via Zoom like everyone's been doing, like they've been encouraging. Hey, it's the next wave. Everyone's going to work from inside their pods now. They couldn't do that. You know why? Because the Brantford Chamber of Commerce, they have broadcast standards. Screw democracy. We don't want a little Zoom icon appearing on our broadcast. It's BS, guys. We've all been lied to. I'm so proud of a gathering this large in Toronto where they say it's not possible. Guess what? It is possible, guys. All right, God bless you all, and I'm an atheist.
That's one guy who should never wear a mask because he can't breathe when he talks a blue streak. Next up, we have Jason from Take Action Canada. He's going to talk about another serious issue that CBC might touch on, but they don't want to do anything about it, and the government doesn't want to do anything about it.
Hi, my name is Jason. I'm from Take Action Canada. So I'd like to discuss an initiative that we did through Take Action Canada called Deaths of Despair, a Child Suicide Evidence Package. So I had some help from Dr. Paul Alexander. He is North America's top academic scientist to come up with all the statistics surrounding child suicide during the lockdown. It was very difficult to come up with a lot of the statistics because the government's actually hiding it from us. The same way they lied about the COVID deaths, they're lying in reverse, and they're trying to conceal the deaths of despair and what's been happening to our children during and because of this lockdown. So we had a couple reports in the media, but they don't really touch on the real reason behind the why. So McMaster Children's Hospital in Hamilton reported an almost 300% increase in serious child suicide attempt during 4-month period of time during the lockdown compared to that same 4 months the year before. They also reported that there was twice as many drug overdose in children and a 90% increase in eating disorders. So what we found is that with children, this is immediate. An adult would have to suffer for months, unemployment, things like that. Eventually, they become depressed. With children, as soon as you tell them, you're not going to school next week, you're not going to be around your friends, your sports are done, all your activities, everything you've been working on, it's done, they immediately resort to suicide ideation and depression. So I have a couple statistics I want to share. Okay. So the kidsphone.ca received over 4 million calls in 2020 compared to the 1.9 million calls in 2019. So they are calling for our help. They're asking for help. And this problem just isn't in Canada. At the Boston Children's Hospital, they reported a 47% increase in children hospitalized for suicide attempt between July and October of 2020 compared to the previous year. More like that, sorry. Arizona reported a 67% increase in child suicide during the lockdown. And according to a peer-reviewed study by the American Academy of Pediatrics, hospitals in the state of Texas reported that child suicide attempts were 2.34 times higher immediately beginning in March 2020, as soon as they announced the lockdown, once again proving that this was immediate effect for children. Now, was this necessary? Did we need to take our children out of school for COVID? According to the statistics that were known at the time, the survival rate under the age of 20 is 99.997, so it's almost 100% survivable. But that number's without treatment. That's if you sit at home and cover up with a blanket. So this is a very beatable illness for children, but more so, they have the lowest rate of severe outcome. The common side effect for children is sniffles from COVID. And Dr. Paul Alexander announced in a study this summer that the reason why children are at such low risk of severe outcome is because they have so few ACE2 receptors. So an ACE2 receptor lines your upper respiratory tract, your nasal passageway, and that's how the virus attaches itself to us. Young children don't even have ACE2 receptors yet, and as they get older, they develop a few more and a few more at a time. So not only are they at low risk of severe outcome, they're also at low risk of passing the virus to others. As a matter of fact, 86 studies show that no child under the age of 10 has ever passed COVID to an adult in any country around the world. So I'm going to hand out a few physical copies of this in the crowd. There's a QR code at the back that takes you to all the research we did. There's a new version of this, which is going to be physically placed in the hand of every member of parliament and every school board trustee in Ontario at our expense at Take Action Canada. So we have to fight to keep our children back in school. Statistically, the safest place for children is in school. Children who acquired COVID likely caught it from their parents at home. So let's fight to get our children back in school. And I'd like to thank the PPC for being the only party to advocate for our rights and freedoms. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Max should be here any minute now. Next up, we have Samuel Greenfield from Thornhill. He's up against candidate Melissa Lantsman, the Conservative Party, who petitioned to keep Walmart open and close small business. So Little Susie's bookstore couldn't have one person in it, but Walmart could be packed. So these conservatives, they're not actually looking out for the people. They're looking out for big business. The Liberals are looking out for big government. Same with the NDP. We're the only party looking out for the people. So here's Samuel.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you ready to take your freedom back? All we want is to be left alone by our government, isn't that right? We're not looking for a handout. We're looking for our freedom back. Now, I studied journalism at Ryerson University, so I know a little bit about the media. And I'll tell you what bothers me. What bothers me is that journalists will tell you that they are just telling you the facts, that they're objective. But we all know that isn't true, is it? The fact of the matter is that every journalist has a bias. And what is totally inappropriate is that these people over here take billions of dollars every year and they use it to undermine our freedom. Why should I have to fund these guys here when they don't represent my values? What's fair about that? Absolutely. But there's a much bigger problem in our country, and that's complacency. For far too long, we've had it too good. We've become apathetic
We care more about what the next restaurant meal is going to be, what the next bottle of wine is going to be, and what the next TV show on Netflix is going to be than we care about our damn freedom. What would the young men who stormed the beaches on D-Day think of us now? So we have work to do and no one to blame but ourselves. And we're here, and we can be proud of the fact that we're here because we're here to fight for our freedom in the same manner, well, not in exactly the same manner, but in the tradition of the men and women who have fought to keep our land free for many years. And so we owe it not only to those who came before us, but also to those who are coming after us to preserve the legacy of freedom in Canada. And the most important way that you can do that right now is to support the only man in Canada who has the guts to stand up for you, and that's Maxime Bernier. So on September 20th, let's take our country back. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have a comedian in the house. He's actually a funny comedian, not one of these government-approved comedians. His name is Ben Bankus. He's promised to be on his best behavior. This is the biggest crowd he's seen in a while because he's usually doing a comedy out of his dungeon, sometimes at Yuck Yucks. So here we go. Ben, come on up and say a few words. You're wearing a sweater for some reason, even though it's stinking hot.
Thank you, man. I didn't know I was going to come here. I was just trying to get drunk at lunch. And the lady at the lunch place was like, you know, in 2 weeks you can't come in here. And I was like, well, I'm going to this to chat with you guys. Can we make some noise a little bit? This is exciting. This is exciting. Rosemary Barton's inside just farting and shit. Yeah? Well, why don't you come closer, you idiot? I'm speaking. Is this loud enough? All right. This is awesome, man. I've been making fun of Trudeau and Theresa Tam for like the past 2 years, and I just got my Instagram deleted, which is definitely a good thing, I think, because now people in the States know who I am. You know what I mean? Because Rebel News is the best, and they wanted to tell. Exactly. You think Trudeau's in there right now putting on his blackface makeup or what? It's crazy, man. Any Jagmeet voters here tonight? I'm just kidding. Dude, first time I saw a picture of Jagmeet, I just thought it was Trudeau on vacation. I was like, look, he's back in India. What happened? But Trudeau's nuts, dude. Remember when he did the full brown face and he had the turban on? And like the turban was way more authentic than Jagmeet's? I mean, he had like a jewel in it. There was like a feather on it. Thought he was going to be telling fortunes on Omni 10 or something. But I think Trudeau should just come out as Indian. You know what I mean? He should just do a full transition. Government funded. Right? So we tune into CBC one night and they'll be like, we're here with Justinder Trudinder. The man, the transformation. My name is Ian Hannemensing, and I did it backwards. Okay, this is fun, dude. Hey, man, what's up? Good picture. Can you get one of the crowd? They'll just think I'm on a lawn somewhere. I was doing comedy shows I started comedy shows in June 2020 in a park. I don't know if you guys know Christie Pitts. So I started a comedy show in Christie Pitts. I got fined the second night by bylaw for like $2,500 for making jokes in a park. The guy, it was a grown man with braces, was the bylaw officer. And his last name, his name was Officer Coward. I have straight up. So it's so nice to be back doing whatever I'm doing right now. This guy's so close to me. It's hilarious. I love this. Are you filming this? Jesus. It's funny how Trudeau legalized weed and then he's wondering why we're all like conspiracy theorists now. Isn't that hilarious? He's like, weed for everybody. Why are they so... What's wrong? You got us all high for 5 years, and now we don't trust you. It's just how it works. I don't even trust the legal weed because I feel like Trudeau's selling it. Right? Like I got some weed, it said may cause schizophrenia. I was like, this is some good shit, dude. This is crazy. Yeah, man, this is fun. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember March 2020 when your whole Instagram feed was just, yeah. March 2020, your whole Instagram feed. Remember when there was just people in China, in Wuhan? By the way, I don't think Wuhan's probably not a real place, but whatever. But in China, in Wuhan, they just had people like, they would just drop dead on the street. And then they'd have like the Chinese military guys would spray them with those weird leaf blowers where steam came out. None of that was real, right? Like, I don't think Theresa Tam's a real person. Like, I'm pretty sure she was also made at the Wuhan lab of virology. Right? Nobody knew who Theresa Tam was till day one of the pandemic. Do you remember that? The first day of the pandemic, they put her on stage. I just wish I was in the meeting with Trudeau, like where Trudeau got briefed on the virus. So, like, we have a virus from China. What do we do? He's like, I know the tranny for the job. I probably shouldn't have said that, but screw it. But she just came out day one. She just came on stage. Remember that? And she just went up to the mic. She was like, don't go on the cruise ship. Thank you. And then walked away. And then 6 months later, she's like, you need a mask for sex. It's like, we know that she's been putting a bag over her head for the last 15 years. I should probably leave. All right. Thank you, guys. Follow me at Ben Bankus 2. It's at Ben Bankus, Bankas 2, because I'm in virtual concentration camp. Goodbye.
I think he's overheated. He's wearing a sweater and it's 35 degrees out. Anyway, thank you. Next up, we got Kristen Nagel. She's an absolute warrior. She's one of the few nurses that has spoken out, and she spoke out early. She's just an absolute warrior. She's one of my heroes because it's very difficult what she's doing because the whole system is against her, and she's one of the only ones willing to tell the truth. So please give it up for Kristen Nagel.
Hello, warriors. And I don't say that lightly, I mean it, because right now we are in a battle. I think we all feel it. We're in war, psychological, spiritual, and we are now at the front lines. This is it, where we're ready to charge. And it's amazing to see everyone coming out, and everyone is ready. And we are so thrilled because Canadian frontline nurses, we've been at this battle for a while trying to share truth and stand up. We put ourselves at the front lines of this battle to stand up for the truth, for informed consent, for medical freedom, for our children, for their future generations. And we stood up to protect our communities and the public. And so we are thrilled to see that finally we have an army also behind us now. So I spoke up. I'm a nurse for 14 years. I was terminated back in January for speaking the truth. I'm also a holistic nutritionist, but gave me the background to see conventional medicine as well as holistic health. So I have a knowledge of both sides, which allows me to kind of see truth and what actual healing is. I spoke out because of my children and for all children and future generations. I saw where the future was going, and it was not a future that I wanted to bring my kids up in. I wanted to show them that the world is a beautiful place, that we are proud Canadians that help each other, that lend a helping hand, that we do not turn our backs on one another, that we do not discriminate, and we do not live in a place of hate or anger or finger pointing. We are here to be united with our differences and our uniqueness. And look at everyone in this crowd today. That is what makes this a beautiful place. We're not meant to be the same. We're not meant to have the same thoughts, the same beliefs, the same values. How boring would that be? That's the world that they want for us. I want differences. I want to disagree. I want to have debates, and I want to learn from each and every one of you. These guys don't want that. They want to push a one-sided narrative. They want groupthink. They don't want any of us to be different or unique or to even be critical thinkers. And we saw that throughout all of this pandemic. We've seen it right from the beginning, but we see it more so now. As we did our national worldwide walkout on September 1st. Yes. And we supported nurses that stood up at the hospitals because they were trying to mandate the injection on all healthcare workers, and we saw where that was going. That would mean all jobs and employments. So we created a walkout to support healthcare workers. And I bet many of you were there in Toronto or many other locations. It was a beautiful, empowering day. And we had measures in place, to make sure access was not blocked, to make sure it was positive, to make sure we supported the workers, to make sure that we had nurses and physicians and people in the crowd with us. Then we tried it again with, this time, a silent vigil this past Monday. And it was meant to honor everyone that has been affected by the COVID-19 measures or have had adverse reactions from the vaccines. It was a moment to hear our stories that are being ignored. It was a moment to create a tribute of our grievance, our suffering. It was a moment to lay our hearts out so that others can see that we are not evil, we are not anti-maskers, we're not anti-vaxxers, we are not here to create hate or attack or divide. We just want to be heard, and these are our hearts. And what did the media do? These guys, they have been vilifying us as a terrorist group, as a group that was there to attack the hospitals, to raid. Some places had more police in place than there were people there, leaving their flowers and their hearts behind. I was in London that day. CTV came out, interviewed me, completely left out the whole story about why we were there. I asked them to please make sure you share this story. There was a boy, Nathan. His parents put up a memorial of him on the fence with flowers and his picture, and this young man died after the Pfizer injection. I said, please share these stories. These are the ones that need to get out. Did anyone hear about Nathan's story on mainstream media? Yeah. And we are just created as evil people. And I look around and I see smiles. I feel hope. I feel the love. And where are they right now? Why are they not showing who we really are? They're scared, is why. They see the uprising. They see what is happening. They know that Canada is stepping up. They know their house of cards is about to crumble. They know that the truth is coming out. They know their lies are being exposed. And we know we've gone over the target. We know because we have public officials talking about us, Doug Ford. We even got Trudeau talking about us. So we know that they are desperate and they are scared and they are trying to attack us. But we are not going to counter that with any hate or anger or create further divide. Our leaders are doing enough damage with that right now. And we, the people, are going to rise above that. And we are going to continue to come at this with love, because love is the only thing that is going to get us through this. It is love wins, good wins, and God wins. So I'm going to read some scriptures that help me get through this, because let me tell you, this is a spiritual battle, and we need faith right now. We need faith, and we need each other, and we need community, because this is a heavy battle, a psychological battle, and I'm sure you're all feeling it. Who is feeling heavy in this crowd? Who has broken down over all of this? Yeah, oh good. I can tell you, I'll let you know, because I always speak from the heart, is yesterday was my day to collapse, and I cried all day at everything that was happening. And I went out in London to the PPC rally, and I saw at least 2,000 people out in our little sleepy crowd. And it filled my heart. And then from London, we went on to Elmer, where there was at least 3,000 or more that came out. And it is what I needed. And I hope everyone looks around and knows that we are not alone. We are not doing this alone. We are doing this together. And if you have a heavy heart, and if you are tired, then please take a rest. Taking a rest does not mean giving up, does not mean defeat. It means that you are regrouping to come back with more strength and more determination, because we know we're in a marathon. This is not a race, and we need everyone in this till the end. So I'm going to read you from 1 John 4, verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. It looks like our guest of honor is here. So that is what I want you guys to stay with. Hi, hi, hi. Okay. If it's okay, I'm just going to finish this up quickly because I think what I'm about to say is important, and then I'm going to pass off the mic. Okay. So this is what I want to do quick, is just read this last scripture, and then I just want everyone to come together before I pass off the mic to our very honored guest, Maxine, here. So finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. So I want everyone, please, to close your eyes. And I want everyone to hold your neighbor's hand if you are willing, or put your hand over your heart. And I want you to close your eyes, because I think this is so important in this battle that we need to come back to these images and we need to feel uplifted. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and feel that power, feel that truth, feel it going through your lungs and every cell of your body. Exhale. Any heaviness, any anger, let it out. Breathe in joy, breathe in love, and feel it throughout your whole body, from your head to your toes to your fingertips. Let out anything that is keeping you down and heavy. Breathe it out loud and audible. Now, visualize the future you want to live in. What does it look like? Yes. Yes. And who are you with? What are you doing? And how does that feel? Come back to that image, breathe it in and hold it in your heart, hold it in your mind. Exhale. Breathe in one more time. And now picture, we already know we're victorious. We already know that we've won. We already know that we're in that place of freedom that you have pictured in your mind. Breathe it in and hold it and know it to be true. And exhale anything weighing you down. And come back to this image often, because know that we are here. This event that is happening across Canada is here for a reason. It is meant to shake us up. It is meant to get us off our seats. It is meant to bring us back into our heart and give us all the opportunities that we have to create the future that we want, to get off this track of where we were, of going towards evil. We get to create new systems with our government, with the PPC, with our healthcare, with our education. The time is now, and Canada is ready for change, and we are all going to do that together.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Hello, everybody. You are here because you know, like me, that we cannot take for granted our freedoms anymore, and you're ready to do that fight. That ideological fight, that common sense revolution, because we know that what the government is doing right now to us with vaccine passport, mass mandate, It is unconstitutional, illegal, unfair, immoral, and we are saying no to that and yes to freedom. And the mainstream media try to describe us as anti-mask, anti-vaccine. You are here today. You are not during our campaign. You're just here today because you know that it's a time to speak about what the people want. And the people here, they're ready to fight for their life. They're ready to fight for our democracy. And we want to have the freedom of choice. Freedom of choice. That's our fight. We're not anti-vaccine, we're not anti-mask. Everybody must be able to decide what to do if they want to have the vaccine or not. You know, the feminists were saying a couple of years ago, my body, my choice. I'm saying the same thing today, our body, our choice. And Trudeau, O'Toole, and all these traditional politicians are dividing us. They did that by race, by gender, and now by vaccination status. We are saying no to that. We want to unite all Canadians under the freedom umbrella. Because there's no reason to do segregation and discrimination, because every Canadian is in the same boat. Everybody can spread the virus. Yes, we know that vaccinated people that decided to have the vaccine, if they have COVID-19, they will have mild symptoms. But like myself and a lot of Canadians that decided not to have the vaccine, they can spread the virus. So there's no reason to do that segregation. I want to be able to go to a restaurant. I want to be able to go to a baseball game. And I'm saying to people who decided to have the vaccine, your life is not in danger if people unvaccinated are with you, because you took the vaccine. You protect yourself. So let's reopen the economy, saying no to lockdowns. Saying no to vaccine passport and yes to freedom. And actually, we know that vaccine passport has an expiration date. It will be in 8 months when they will ask you to take the third shot, the fourth one, or the fifth one. So people must understand, enough is enough. We want to go back to our life before COVID-19. And you know, like me, that this election will be a referendum. I agree with Justin Trudeau when he said, and maybe that's the first time and the last time, when he said, when he launched that election, I want you Canadians to judge me on the way that I managed the COVID-19 crisis. Yes, Mr. Trudeau, we will judge you on that. And Mr. Trudeau, when you said to civil servants in Ottawa, when you said to them, if they don't take the 2 shots, if they don't have their vaccine passport, there will be consequences. That's what you said to them. I know what you said to them. You said to them, if you don't take your 2 shots, I will punish you. But Mr. Trudeau, we will punish you the 28th of September. Because we don't want to live, we don't want to live in a socialist country. In a country when you'll have to show your papers to participate in civil society. We don't want that. And Mr. O'Toole, we know that you are like Trudeau. You're ready to impose vaccine passport all across the country, and we cannot trust these conservative government here in Ontario and also in Alberta, these conservative governments are not fighting for us. They all want to impose a vaccine passport. Here, Ford and Kenney in Alberta and O'Toole in Canada, they are all in the same boat. They want to have more government control, and we want to have more freedom. Yes, yes, and we know that in 4 days, that will be important. That election is important, and I'm asking you, don't hesitate to speak to your friends, your family, your co-workers, because there's a lot of Canadians that don't know that we are here, don't know that we exist. We cannot count on the mainstream media. They cancel us, but I'm telling you, this party is growing because of you, because of people like you that are ready to fight for this country. Yes, freedom. They're ready to fight because we know when tyranny becomes the law, revolution becomes our duty. It is our duty to start that common sense revolution, that freedom revolution all across our country. And that will start the 28th of September. I can tell you, we will be elected, some more candidate will be elected, and you will have that freedom voice in Ottawa, and we will be with you in Ottawa to fight for our country, to put Canadian first and our country first, and also I'll be with you in the street to do more protests if they don't understand that we want to gain back our freedom. They told us 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I'm telling them 4 days to flatten the lies. 4 days. No more lies. We know that we must learn to live with that virus. We know what to do to fight that virus, but it's not with lockdowns and with vaccine passport. For the first time in our history, we are fighting a virus with lockdowns, stay-at-home orders, curfew, vaccine passport. That was a failed experiment. It won't happen again. You can count on us. That's the end. And we know that we will win because we have the science on our side. Just look in Israel. In Israel today, vaccinated people, we know that they can spread the virus. So where is the logic right now? In Quebec, me personally, I cannot go to a restaurant, but I can go to my church. Do you think that there are more viruses in restaurants than in a church? There's no logic there. I will tell you why I can go to my church. Because the Catholic Church was very efficient at doing their lobby at the provincial level. That's why. That's not based on science. That's not based on common sense. Let's stop that discrimination and segregation now. So, Canadian needs our voice, and we need your support. I hope that the next 4 days, be active on social media. Call your friends. Tell them that there's an alternative. Yes, They must know at this time that all the traditional political parties are all on the same side on the most important issues for our election. It's important to fight for what we believe. And I'm asking you, don't vote against something. Don't vote against a government. Vote for what you believe. Vote for what you believe. Vote for yourself. If you want to live in a free and a prosperous country, you have the only choice. The only choice is the People's Party of Canada, because we are putting you first and our country first. So our time is critical right now. I was saying that 2 years ago in the 2019 election. I was saying that we need to fight for our freedom. We need to have a smaller government that will respect people, respect taxpayers. And at that time, when I was speaking about freedom, people were looking at me, what do you mean, Maxime? We are living in a free country. But now people understand that we don't want to go in that direction with more socialism and more government control. So this election will be an historical election. And this political party, this movement is growing because of you. And that historical election will be a big surprise for the mainstream media, but it won't be a surprise for us, because we know that there's a silent majority out there that they're looking at us, and they must not have the courage of their conviction. They must not have the courage to come here and to fight with us. But they are looking at us. And I can tell you that more and more people will give them the courage to vote for what they believe for once. And I believe that they will do that because they want to gain back their country and save their country. Yes, this is Canada, and I'm not alone, and we're not alone in that fight. And I want to give the floor to a real Canadian, a freedom fighters here from Ontario, but also Randy is very well known all across the country because he started that End the Lockdowns movement all across the province, all across the country. And he decided a couple of months ago to call me in Montreal, and he said, Maxime, you are with us with that fight? I said, yes, for sure. Come with us. Be part of the End the Lockdowns caucus. And I was proud, and I'm proud to be part of that caucus with Randy and other elected representatives at the municipal levels. We started that caucus together, and now it's a big movement all across the country that is saying no to the lockdowns, but no to the vaccine passport, and yes to our freedoms. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Max. Getting a little hoarse here. I'm gonna do my best. We've been busy on the campaign trail. And listen, you see all these wonderful people out here. You see the crowds are building for freedom. Canadians are standing up for freedom. And we take a look around and we see the mainstream media ignores the big crowds. The government ignores the big crowds. They're trying to divide us. They're trying to ignore us. They're trying to say that Canadians don't want freedom. The PPC and Canadians want freedom, and we're going to get it on Monday, September 20th. And these guys, the crowds are getting bigger and bigger. Yesterday in London, we had 2,000 people out. In Elmer, we had 4,000 people out. But the media keeps ignoring it. And thankfully, we've got the independent media here. The independent media is who we need to trust, not these bloody CBC or CTV or any of the others. They are part of the narrative of fear that our governments are promoting. And that's what they've been doing. For 18 months, our governments have purposely been instilling and telling us a story of fear and danger and terror. We'll have no more of that bullshit, because that's what it is. Right? First, they told us 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Then they said 2 weeks to not overwhelm the hospitals. And then they said, well, just a little lockdown, maybe another lockdown. And then they said, well, maybe just have another lockdown. And then they said, well, let's have another lockdown. And then they said, let's close up our borders. That'll do it. We close up our borders. And then they said, well, we have to stay at home and nobody can come over and see you at Christmas. That'll do it. That'll stop it. And then another lockdown. And then they said, well, just a vaccine. Well, everything will be okay once we get a vaccine. And then they said, well, maybe a second vaccine and then a booster. That'll do it. That'll do it. And then, well, just a vaccine passport. Just a vaccine passport will do it. It's all BS. It's a narrative of fear. Freedom beats fear. Freedom beats fear. Freedom beats fear. Freedom beats fear. And the PPC beats fear as well. The PPC stands for freedom. So listen, we know there's four parties on one side of this story. Four parties, the Liberals, the Conservatives, the NDP, and the Greens. All are invested in this story of fear. Right? If you want to split the vote, here's how you split the vote. Four parties are for fear. One is for freedom. It's Maxine Bernier. Split the vote. Split the vote. Vote for freedom. That's how we split the vote. And I'm going to tell you all, the government doesn't like telling you the whole story. We know there's 6.5 million Canadians, just like everyone out here, just like me, just like Max, like all our family members, everybody here. 6.5 million people are opposed to this mandatory vax and opposed that our government is going after our kids now. 6.5 million. What they don't tell you, in the last election, Justin Trudeau won with 6 million votes. Can we win? Can freedom win? You betcha we can. Let's get off the couch. Let's get up. Let's go after it. Freedom is within our grasp, and we need to get it. And I want to say, people think that we hear these stories, another story to suppress and disempower us and to get us to stay home. And people are talking about the election is rigged or doesn't have integrity. That's nonsense. In Canada, we make voting machines, but we don't use voting machines here. We ship them to the United States. Every ballot in this country, in this election, is counted by a person. And every PPC candidate has the option to have scrutineers watching over that count. You want to have a fair vote? Help us out. Become a scrutineer. Have your eyes on the poll station on that day. Make sure that the PPC votes go in the PPC pile. And we will win this election hands down. Hands down. But I'll say, September 20th is a big day. It's a big step. It's a day that Canadians make a choice. We make a choice. Are we going to accept tyranny, segregation, communism, or do we accept freedom with Maxime Bernier? Freedom. Freedom will win the day. Canadians will win the day. Freedom will win the day. But on September 20th, that's a big day. But it's only the first step. We've been on a slippery slope in this country for a long time. A long time. We need to start climbing up that slippery slope. We will start climbing up that slippery slope together. I'm going to be with Maxime Bernier and all of you as we start climbing up that slippery slope on the 20th. And we're going to get to the top, because at the top we know that's where our future is. That's where our faith is. That's where our freedom and our families are. Let's join us. Let's go up that hill. Let's find it. And let's be like every Canadian before us. We have never lost a battle when our freedom was at stake, ever in our history. We're not going to lose it now. Thank you.
Somebody lost their phone. It's a green phone. I've got it. Next up, we have an ethical doctor. That's right, an ethical doctor. And by that I mean not a doctor who just pushes pills because a lady with a short skirt and a rolling suitcase offered them free hockey tickets. So next up is Dr. G.
Hello, everybody. May God keep our land glorious and free. Free. But when politics plays medicine, we start losing the freedom. We have corruption. When politics plays medicine, our medical privacy is in breach. They breach our freedom to make an informed consent decision. And you know, when the public health circus took the vaccine clinic to Canada's Wonderland, they put organized medicine on that, you know, that tower drop ride, and they pushed a button to bring medicine down, to compromise the ethics of medicine. And I asked the question, is there an ethical doctor in the house? Is there an ethical doctor in the house in the practice of medicine today? In an ironic twist this morning, Dr. Julie Pinessi, a Western University professor of ethics, ironically was fired for raising ethical concerns regarding breach of medical privacy and informed consent. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Dr. Julie Pinessi a hand for her courage. Her courage to resist the illegal medical dictatorship that's fallen upon our land. But you know, interestingly, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario supports Dr. Pinessi and her position that in order to have a consent be ethical and professional, number one, it has to be informed. Number two, it has to be voluntary without coercion or duress. Mr. Ford, Mr. Trudeau, public health officials corrupting medicine. And number three, it has to be done with, let me think of number three. Okay, so voluntary. So the third thing is that it has to be done without coercion whatsoever, without any kind of coercion, and without fraud and misinformation. That's the third point, without fraud and misinformation. So I look around at my medical colleagues. I've retired from medicine now, but looking from the outside in, I wonder, how did this happen? How did this happen to medicine? And I evaluate it, and I see that we were primed from day one of medical school. Big pharma is the model that you go with. You memorize the vaccine schedules and don't question them. Anybody that questions the medical model is a quack. That's what we're taught. And you obey and conform to governments and big pharma model to maintain our lavish lifestyle. And I've been there. The house on the water, the Mercedes-Benz. I've had all that. But there's something far more valuable than material possession and money, and that is ethics. There are now 3 groups of doctors in Canada. Group number 1, they're medical dictators. They have actually agreed with the policies of the government and are actually pushing the policies of the government for coercion and medical dictatorship. And they say to me, Emad, just shut up and take the vaccine and post your vaccine selfie picture. That's what they're saying. So I say to them, what do you mean, what vaccine? You mean, can I just hold this for 1 sec? This is a product monograph. I called multiple pharmacies last night. I said, I want to know the ingredients of this COVID-19 vaccine. And this is what I got.
Oh gosh, look at this. That's the insert, guys.
The insert for the COVID-19 vaccine says, intentionally blank. The governments on Thursday want to pass a law to mandate vaccines and have us take who knows what, intentionally blank, no knowledge of ingredients. Is that informed consent? And not only that, they're coercing us to do it. And they're saying we need to do it to play hockey, to go to the gym, to go to the restaurant. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not medicine. This is a disgrace. Disgrace has fallen upon our land. And thank goodness we have ethical politicians and ethical doctors. The second group of doctors are doctors that know this is unethical. They know it. They call me, they message me regularly. They say, Emad, there's no COVID patients in the hospital. They're lying. Media's lying. Emad, we're seeing vaccinated patients, one after another, damaged, paralyzed, clots, myocarditis, dying on ventilators from the vaccine. But they say to me, Emad, no, don't share my name. Don't share my name. This group is the golden handcuff rule. I understand that. They have a mortgage. They're leveraged with a house on the water and their Audis and BMWs. And I understand that. I've been there. They owe a lot of money. They're in big debt. And so if they come forward, they're afraid of the tyrannical college, the college that breaches their own mandates by coercing vaccination, forcing vaccination for all but life-threatening conditions. That's the College of Physicians and Surgeons. They ignore their own regulations that say it's voluntary, it's not coerced, and it's not fraudulent. But then the good news is there's a third category of doctors, the ethical doctors. The ethical doctors that see ethics and their code of conduct as far more important than money, far more important than their Mercedes-Benz and their house on the water. Let's give a hand to those doctors. Dr. Colvinder Gill, Dr. Patrick Phillips, Dr. Mark Trozzi, Dr. Stephen Malthouse, Dr. Bridle, and our colleague from the States, Dr. Peter McCullough. You know, all these doctors face persecution. They're discredited. They're shamed. But they take it. But you know what? We represent a much larger percentage of the population than the media would have us believe. We don't know what that is. All I know is that I've seen online polls that have Maxine at 55% and the screaming Trudeau at 7%. I'd say that's a margin for a majority government, wouldn't you say, ladies and gentlemen? But they're taken down. They're taken down. The polls are taken down, and instead, I'm sure we're seeing fake polls by corporate media. Of course. So in conclusion, there is hope, ladies and gentlemen. There is hope. In the midst of the darkness and the medical tyranny, we have hope. We have history on our side. Tyrants have existed and they have come and they have gone, all the way back from Pharaoh, tyrants over the Israelis, to Mussolini, to Stalin, to Lenin, to Saddam Hussein, to Prime Minister Trudeau. Tyrants come and tyrants go. And you may think it's a monumental task. But I share with you a history book of David and Goliath. Goliath was a tyrant. He was a mocker. He looked down at David and he said, you measly Jew. He mocked him every single day. And David said, no, I actually have a much greater power on my side. I have God on my side. And we look at the big Goliath giant of the CBC and the CTV and Global. And we say, David took down a big giant. David took down a big giant. And then ultimately, there will be victory. It looks dark right now, but the momentum is growing. The momentum is growing, ladies and gentlemen. And it says very clearly that pride comes before the fall in Proverbs. Pride, tyranny, corruption comes before the fall, and there will be a fall. And ultimately, we have a much greater power. We have a much greater power. We think of freedom. We think of political freedom. There's a much greater freedom. And God will keep our land. And that very God says that in himself, the truth will set you free. In God himself, we will be victorious. God bless you.
Well, how about that, Canada? Those are a wonderful lineup of speakers. Again, my name's Cole Squire. I'm the People's Party of Canada candidate for Brantford-Brant. We will win this, Canada. And I want to thank everyone that spoke today, including our other wonderful People's Party of Canada candidates. I just want to leave you guys with one more message here before I pass this off. And especially to those in our current political establishment, the globalists, the fake news, CBC, globalist news, all of them. I want to make sure you guys all know two things. One, that Canada is a nation that was founded on the principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. And that we will never be a post-national state with no core identity. We will protect our country's values. Now, I don't know what a better way to kind of wrap things up. We still have more coming for you guys, but I would like to call up the lovely Lena to join us in the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome her.
How many freedom fighters are here today? Come on. Let me see you. A purple wave right now. Purple wave. Come on. How many of you are ready to stand on guard for Canada? Let me hear you. Let me hear you loud and clear. Yes. God, keep our land glorious and free. We're going to all sing our national anthem together.
In all
bless you all. PPC, 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 PPC. God bless you all. Woo!
Hey everybody, my name is Michael Bader. I am the Burlington candidate. Hey, do you guys want to hear "Oh Canada" with the original unwoke lyrics? Should we do that? Could you do that? Oh yeah!
Absolutely, guys. I have no problems with this. Let's do it again. I agree with you, sir. Let's do it again. Second time's better.
Honey, come up here.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land. True patriot love in all thy sons command. Car ton bras sait porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. Everybody! God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for
Am I allowed to go now? Can I go now? Well, I'm not allowed to speak, Jim.
What a beautiful voice. I love all of you people. I came back to say one thing to all of you. I'd like to thank all of you freedom fighters. I'd like to thank all of you that have never voted in your lives and you're going to vote for the PPC. We are going to be a storm to be reckoned with. Come September the 20th, we're going to shock the world and we're going to shock Canada and we're going to shock the censorship. We're going to shock the CBC. I used to work for the CBC. I love independent news.
Don't forget as well tomorrow for the Freedom Rally. Everyone tomorrow. So thank you.
There's a freedom rally Saturday, the 20th at noon at Queen's Park. Let's make this the big one yet, because we're running out of time. Not the 20th, sorry, that's the election. 18th. We got our dates right. 18th Saturday, noon at Queen's Park. And let's send a message to Doug Ford that we are not participating in vaccine passports. This is not going to happen.
Yeah, if I could, you want to go?
No, you go ahead.
All right, I'm Michael Bader. I am the Burlington candidate. So anybody in Burlington, I'm your guy. MichaelBader.com. We're going to need scrutineers. Okay, listen up. I know Randy said, we've all said it. We don't use Dominion machines, but what we need is we need our eyes on it, because people can put the ballot in the wrong box. They can say it's spoiled. They can do all of these things. So I suggest you can go to michaelbader.com and find your candidate. You find your candidate on the People's Party site. You can also find out your polling stations. What you want to do is if you're near a polling station, you got to help out. If you've got 2 hours over there, plus your 2 hours, that guy can work 8 hours. We got the day at a polling station. You've only got an hour. Hey, Maybe you could do it. She's going to do it in an hour. What I'm saying is, the only way we are going to take our country back is if we take it back ourselves. The moment we comply, they move the goalposts. The moment that we say yes to tyranny is the day we lose democracy. The vaccine passport is the death knell to democracy. And right now, you have 5 days. You have 5 days to go out, to go hit Instagram, to meet people at the store. You need to start getting into your communities, your school boards, your counselors, your mayors. We need to be involved, and I'm to blame as well. I had 3 kids. I'm worried. I'm busy. I'm coaching hockey. I'm doing these things. But I needed to be at my school board so they didn't teach racist, woke, cancel culture. No! Say no to that. No to racism. No to division. They are trying to implement Jim Crow. Remember Jim Crow? Back of the bus. You can't use this washroom. No, you can't come into my restaurant. Well, that's what they're doing to our country right now, under our eyes, in the disguise of virtue. Oh, I'm so virtuous because, I took this vaccine and I'm better than you. No, they're not. Everybody is essential. Is that correct? The government's right is not to pick and choose winners and losers. Be it business, be it people. My suggestion is, hey, you want a lockdown? Let's shut down Costco, Amazon, Walmart. I'm going to go to Mary Ann's studio. I'm going to go to the general store. And I'm going to support small business. Are you going to support your small businesses? You need to support your teachers right now. They are being bullied into getting the vaccine. Anybody who gets those notes, I'm going to try on michaelbader.com to put up some literature for you. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a software developer. I'm a dad, and I'm pissed off at what this government is doing to our country. I shouldn't have to be here. I should be at home coding. I should be coaching kids soccer or hockey. But I can't do that because they are taking away my right to be with my kids. And I'm sick and tired of the child abuse. Their masks don't work. They're 4% effigy at the best. And what are they causing psychologically? From the years 1 to 5, all of our children learn everything. Face language, body language. They learn how to touch, to hug, to communicate. And what we're doing right now, we have no idea how much harm we are doing. And enough is enough. In 5 days, we need to change this government. To me, we need to be together. You know that guy, you know that guy. You meet a guy that doesn't have 5 masks on, get his number. Get the lady's number. Seriously, we need to find our tribe. I felt so alone. Did you feel alone? Did you feel alone? Did you? I felt alone. You know what? I was so paranoid 2020, so I got a dog. Anyone got a dog here? You got dogs, you got dogs. So you got poopy bags. You guys know about poopy bags? You know, they're in your pocket, except when you need it on the neighbor's lawn. And you're like, oh crap, where's my poopy bag? But I got poopy bags. And I would put them on my hands like gloves, and I would pump my gas. I would go every day scared. Oh my God, don't touch my face, don't touch my face. But then I started to use a little bit of my Polish background, critical thinking. And I thought, wait a second, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. You know what? I was a downtown banker type coder. Look at this. That's 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. They keep moving the goalposts. We have to say no. We have to say no with our vote. We have to say no inside of the buildings we go into without a mask. We need to say no to vaccine passports, and we need to say no to every single thing this government's doing, because every single thing is wrong that they are doing. The Spanish flu was over 2 months ago by the same time frame. No vaccines, no lockdowns. But we did learn one thing, that we get bacterial pneumonia from wearing masks, apparently, and we need antibiotics. So what I'm challenging you to do today, everybody, get in touch with your candidate. Burlington, Oakville, London, Toronto, everywhere. Get in line and be a scrutineer. Watch those votes being counted. Watch the people. We need your eyes. Right now in mine, I have 22 polls, and I thought I was kind of cool. I had a few people, and then I went to this video call, and I'm like on this video call, and I'm like, hey, I got 22. I'm covered. No. Each poll has 5 to 8 tables to count. So we need about 10 people at each one if I'm doing my math correctly. And we need you, and you, and you, everybody. I mean it. If this is our chance. We are at a crossroads. You need to get the duty. We're trying to get the message out. You're trying to get it out. But if you do not go out and vote, then all of this is worthless. If you do not go out and help your candidates to watch counting the vote, then there could be issues. We need your help. And let's make Canada great again. I don't know what's going on here. I'm ad-libbing.
I just met this guy, and honest to God, he is the coolest candidate I've ever met in my entire life.
Hold on.
Well, no, I met her too. They've all been great candidates, guys. Honestly, I'm just an independent journalist. I'm just here to document whatever, but I met both of them on the boat. We were on a boat. It was awesome.
We sang a song and we did it.
It was literally the most humble experience I've ever had in my entire life. So if you guys want freedom, if you guys want independence, PPC!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very lovely lady here from Chatham. I can't say all of the riding, but she will. Hold on. Give it up for Liz.
Thanks, guys. I'm not going to keep you. I'm from the riding of Chatham, Kent, Leamington. Does anybody know where that is? Chatham, Kent, Leamington. Nice, guys. Awesome. To close this off, we're going to do it appropriately. We're going to have Lena come back on. She's going to inspire you, and she's going to raise you up. Let's do it.
So what better song to sing to end this day today than You Raise Me Up?